Hello YouTube, this is Keith Kevin Kent. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Time again for us to count down my 2019 knife purchases. 2019 with a huge spending year for me. I admit it. I have a knife illness, a big knife illness, especially when I started pulling all of the 2019 knives that I bought and put them on my desk. It was a little overwhelming for me. I didn't know I had bought that many. Um, but we're going to go through them. We're counting down to the new year. I'm recording this in 2019. These are all the purchases I made in 2019. In a day or two, I'm going to have my last two purchases of 2019 from Spyderco. So I'll introduce those two to you. But we have a lot of knives on the table. As I do a video, I put away the knives, so you'll start seeing them shrink. But as you can see, most of the knives were the knives under the camera, out of your sight. And those are the ones I packed away. This is part 5 of the series. Part 5 of the series. We may make 10 or 11. And today, this video is about the Chris Reeves Inkosi. The Chris Reeve Inkosi. I'll tell you, 2019 was not the first time I bought a small Inkosi. I have been infatuated with the small Chris Reeves Inkosis since they came out. I'm a huge Chris Reeve knives fan. At one point I had, 25 to 30 Chris Reeve knives. I have sold off a lot of them through the 4 or 5 trimmings of my collection. And the reason I bought a lot of Chris Reeve knives in 2019, these are not the only ones, you'll see more of them, is because I sold off so many and I missed them so much. But I love the small Inkosis, and the reason I love them is that I had so many Chris Reeve 25s. Let me put these down so we can talk one at a time. I had so many Chris Reeve Benza 25s, which the Inkosi replaces. And the Benza 25, there was no such thing as a small Benza 25. So when the Inkosi replaced the Benza 25 and they came out with the small Inkosi, I just went crazy. Because this is a form factor of a Chris Reeve knife that I had never seen, so I was never able to collect it. And I had some real nice pieces too. I sold them all when I was trimming, and I kicked myself. You get in that sales routine, and then you miss knives. A lot of 2019 was buying the knives that I missed, that I sold off in 2018. So I have a lot of small Inkosis, and I had a lot of small Inkosis, but I never bought a large Inkosi until 2019, and we'll talk about that when we get to the large Inkosis. So I had this Blade HQ exclusive. This is the carbon fiber inlay from Blade HQ. It's an exclusive small Inkosi. Now, Blade HQ did an interesting thing. When they first released these exclusives, they only released 10 large Inkosis with the carbon fiber inlay and 10 small Inkosis with the carbon fiber inlay. Only 10. And as you can imagine, they went quick. I actually snagged number 10 at that point. Well, I sold that. I was missing my carbon fiber inlay Inkosi, and I went on Blade HQ and I saw that this was still available. And through 2019, I've noticed that Blade HQ quietly has been bringing more carbon fiber Inkosis onto the website. And they've been selling, but you can find some. I've been surprised by a number of Blade HQ exclusives that I found. So I had to get it back. It's not the treasured number 10 that was right here, and it doesn't have the special Blade HQ lanyard that came with that. but I'm happy to have it anyway. Oh, the small Inkosi. I love smaller knives anyway. I love small Benza 21s, and you'll see some of those that I bought in 2019. So it was good to get the form factor of the 25 in this small size. And in fact, these are a little bit smaller than the small 21s as well. And I like smaller knives. So I'm going to cover all four of my small Inkosis. Here's the statistics of them. Of course, all of the Chris Reeve knives that I'll talk about has crucibles S35VN steel, CPM S35VN steel. Chris Reeve worked with Crucible on S30V in the development of that. And so, of course, when they upgraded to S35VN, he grabbed that. That's one thing you don't see with Chris Reeve, and that's variety in steels. But I really like S35VN steel. 2.7-inch blade. Usually on the small 21s, they're closer to 2.9-inch, closer. 6.5-inch total and 2.8 ounces. Now, except for the all carbon small one that I'll show you, most of these are at 2.8 ounces. The smaller carbon, the knifeart.com exclusives, which I'll show you coming up next, that usually shaves off about a half of an ounce. So this is the carbon fiber inlay with that wonderful S35VN steel. Of course, Chris Reeve, wow, the tolerances, everything is just great. The jimping is just a perfect jimping. I always call the small Inkosi and the small Benza 21 as a hefty, gentleman's folder. It can do everything the large ones do, but that small size and the looks just look great. Of course, titanium scales and the carbon fiber inlay, the two on the show side, the one on the back. And the thing that really makes me happy with these fancy inlays from Chris Reeves is how he leaves the clip and, of course, the lock bar, the frame lock bar without anything. I like that. It's not polished titanium. It's just regular raw titanium. I like that. It's the working parts. Of course, it's the Chris Reeve integral frame lock on all of these. Just a real nice knife. So that was the Blade HQ exclusive carbon fiber inlay. They're the only ones that handle that. Now the carbon fiber, which has the show side, all carbon fiber, wonderful carbon fiber scales. This is from knifeart.com. I bought a lot of the carbon fibers from knifeart.com. I just love them. This one had a lot going for it. When I collect things, when I had so many Chris Reeve knives, people were saying, how you have that many Chris Reeve knives? It's the same knife. No, there are different inlays. There are different blade shapes. There's a lot of variation within the same thing, which I really like. By the way, I love the big pivots on these small Inkosis as well. This, of course, is an exclusive from knifeart.com. It's the carbon fiber version. Again, it replaces that front scale with a wonderful carbon fiber. It takes about half ounce off. So where the other ones are about 2.8 ounces, this is 2.3 ounces, and you feel that light weight. Also, they have a special bead on all of these carbon fiber ones as well on the lanyard that comes with it. Of course, this is the Insingo blade. I fell in love with the Insingo blade. I like all three of the blades. I like the standard drop point. Um, I love Tanto blades, as you see through a lot of my collection. You'll see the Tanto blades, but this in single blade is really really nice. I saw this posted online as a Warncliffe blade. No, the difference with the Chris Reeves in single is it has that belly, and it does come to a piercing point. So they engineered this shape with the swedges to take off some of the weight, but it does come to an actual piercing point, and it has that belly for cutting, so it is not a Warncliffe. I love that shape. I love the lightness of this knife, and it looks great too. Of course, Chris Reeve integral frame lock on this as well. When you talk about variations, you should not leave out the Star Benzas. You know, I was well into collecting Chris Reeve knives, and then I saw on Instagram someone's called a Chris Reeve knife a Star Benza, and I'm like, what is this? And I looked at the pattern. So of course, at the time I sold them all. This is the only Star Benza I have left. I got one of each of the Star Benzas. This is a special exclusive to Wilson Tactical. Wilson Tactical sells guns and other related tactical things, but they carry this line of knives that they call Star Benzas. Now, it was easy to call them Star Benzas because they were large and small. Star Benza 21s. There was the Star Benza 25, so they called them Star Benzas. They did this whole thing, this sunburst is actually Wilson Tactical's kind of branding. And so that's what makes it different is, see that carved into the scales on the front and the back. See that? And that's the Wilson Tactical bug right there. But part of their thing is that starburst. That's how you know it's a Star Benza. When it came to the Umnumzun, they couldn't call it a Star Benza, so they called it a Star Tac, T-A-C. I just double checked this again. They still call this a Star Benza, even though it's an Inkosi. So it's a Star Benza Inkosi style. And the difference between this and the others, of course, it still has S35VN steel, but it's that starburst pattern, which makes it different. I really like the small Inkosi. I like all of the small Chris Reeve knives. And I'll tell you, I'm in love with the big ones too. I just love Chris Reeve. But if I had my druthers, I'd take a smaller knife. And I think most of that is, a lot of my life is in an urban, big city kind of thing. So to carry, it's nice to have a smaller knife. But also in the office too. But also, I just like it for some reason. It's just classy. And again, when you talk about the Inkosis or the small 21s, they give you the power of a large knife, but it really looks nice. Now, this is a unique piece. This is a Knife Center exclusive. This is the Flat Dark Earth, or you may see it listed as FDE. Flat Dark Earth. That's the coating on the blade and on the scales. The first time I came across this was, I think it was Blade Show. It may have been SHOT Show. I forget when or what it was, but Chris Reeve Knives offered up, I think, 10 Umnumzuns for the show that had this Flat Dark Earth, and then they had 10 Umnumzuns with a Tanto blade. And that is on the table because I bought it from someone who was at Blade Show or SHOT Show, wherever it was, the Umnumzun. And then later, Knife Center came out with these. They still have some available. All of the Inkosis have this coating on them. They're exclusive from Knife Center. and they have every variation. Small, large, tanto, Insingo, or the regular drop point. I wanted the Insingo blade. I just love this. So those 4 small Inkosis all bought. That's my entire small Inkosi lineup now. I used to have a bunch of them, but I sold them off to you guys on this channel. So I wanted to get my Inkosis back, and I bought 4 new ones. First time getting the Star Benza, and of course the Flat Dark Earth. I never thought I would get a large Inkosi. I'm a big Chris Reeves knives collector, and at the time that they actually introduced the small Inkosi first from Chris Reeves. They just called it the Inkosi. We didn't even know a large one was coming. And I was thrilled. I said, great. They offered a small Benza 25. They called it an Inkosi. Great. Then later they introduced the large Inkosi, and I just never bought it. It's an upgrade of the Benza 25. The pivot and a lot of other things have been changed. You can tell the difference. Everything else looks the same. You can tell the difference by eyesight because the clip is tilted inward. The regular one is parallel to the lock bar. But since I sold all of my Benza 25s, I can't even believe I sold all of them. When I trimmed, I went, well, let me get a couple of large Inkosis, because now the thing that stopped me from buying them was gone. And I shared those with you guys during a trimming. So, of course, the large Inkosi is, of course, larger than the smaller one. 3.5-inch blade. This is the drop point. 8.2 inches total and 5 ounces. Of course, this 5 ounces is the one that you see right here, the plain Jane version. Everything you've come to expect from Chris Reeves knives is here. And then the last of the Inkosis is a big Inkosi. Again, a large Inkosi that I thought I'd never get. I went back to knifeart.com to get the big one. Of course, the big difference is that carbon fiber. Instead of 5 ounces in your pocket, it's 4.5 ounces in your pocket. And a little variation from the other one too. Besides being carbon fiber, I wanted that Insingo blade as well. My Chris Reeves knife collection is about half of what it was at its peak, but I love these knives. I really do. I'll be showing you more Chris Reeves knives that I bought in 2019. I bought a lot of Chris Reeves knives in 2019 to replace all the ones I sold. But that, my friends, is the largest small Inkosi collection. All of the Inkosis that are in my collection I bought in 2019 because I missed them so much after I trimmed to you guys. That's it. Don't forget to thumb this up. It just helps. It lets people know that I've put out these videos. I'm working on them. We got a lot of videos in this mini-series. Thank you for joining me with them as we go into the new year 2020. I'm hoping all of you guys the best. The biggest, best year ever in 2020. And I'm hoping the best for me as well. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications. I talked a lot about what I sold during trimmings. I will get trimmings. Right now I'm just loving my knives, but we will sell them off. I only sell them on this channel to you guys. So don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications so you don't miss that kind of thing or these special videos. Keep those pockets full. Take good care of yourselves and your families. Goodbye.